Okay, here's me trying to make one all-encompassing video on what I've kind of just recently come across. And I've never really heard anyone say this aspect, but this, it's to my knowledge or my belief that this is a representation of electromagnetism. North pole, south pole of a magnetic field, positive charge, negative charge of an electric field. Um, So we could just talk about this guy for a little bit. I also want to talk about the caduceus and the kundalini, and I also want to talk about positive, negative charges of zodiac signs, or masculine, feminine, whatever the duality name is you want to give it. Now, what kind of tangent I went on that I've been trying to record is the understanding of the Saturn sign of it looks like the number five, right? And the Jupiter sign looks like the five upside down, the number two. Now, it's to my understanding that the Saturn sign is the cross over the heart. So when you put two fives together, mirrored versions of each other back to back, or butt to butt, you get a cross over the heart. Now, Saturn, I believe, is the representation of um, and this is another connection that I've made, but um, the positive over the negative, or the plus over the negative, or the physical over the soul. Um, and that ties into the sign of the cross, which is the crucifixion, which is the thousand times um, magnification or multiplication of the cerebral spinal fluid, which is, I believe, the conduit or the conductor for the Kundalini awakening, right? And so that's a whole layout that we could talk to as well. But let's get back to the number five here and just use that as a little bit of a guiding post. Now, it's my idea or my consensus, and all of this might have been already put together or talked to, but I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Some ideas would be new. I think this one, I've never seen anyone speak to this being a map of the electromagnetic field and the polarities and the plus and minus charges. Um, but that's what we have in our human body, right? So if Capricorn is the plus sign or the number five at the top, it's one split. I think it's radial down the middle, half of the cross, right? The number five, the top part of the number five. Um, then that would I feel as though that sign of the alchemical symbol of Saturn is indicating that Saturn is a plus. Well, then that would make Aquarius a minus. Now, why is that significant? Because we're saying here in this image, this represents Capricorn and Aquarius, right? The King of Swords in the tarot represents the movement from Capricorn season to Aquarius season, which we're currently in right now. And it's crazy that this is coming through. It's crazy that I did a Capricorn reading earlier in the week and a bunch of tens came through, 333 on the clock. Synchronicity, spirit is with us. When I try to record this on my phone, I got like I got like 13 missed calls, automated messages. I think that was another synchronicity that I was really on to something. Put the pieces together. I understood it as maybe like the devil trying to sidetrack me or like negative energies, but then also now I could maybe just get the confirmation. It could be that spirit saying yes, like ding 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 ding, you got it. Like I'm gonna send you all these calls to let you know. I've never had that happen before. I guess someone was trying to like hack into my Venmo account, but let's get back to it. So if Saturn is plus and Aquarius is minus, then Pisces is plus. That's also Jesus imagery, right? The cross. Then Aries is minus. Um, now, I could go on about the horns of the ram and maybe like devil imagery, but then that kind of offsets the fact that Capricorn is the devil card in the tarot. But the devil card in the tarot has been coming through as a path chosen, a path that requires or embodies the walker of the path, the protagonist. with positive attributes, and maybe the positive of the five, the number five, or the plus of the cross, right? Using this 3D realm to awaken, right? To mold ourselves. Now, what's the awakening? What's the back-to-back fives, mirrored version of themselves, right? Five and five. Put the two tops together. That's the cross in the heart, right? The rounded off parts of the heart, butt to butt. So it's the cross of the heart. Okay, so what's the cross? The cross is a crucifixion. What's a crucifixion? It's in Kundalini. It's when the cerebral spinal fluid gets magnetized times 1,000. And it goes into the pineal gland. Pineal gland shoots it off to the right hemisphere, which I recently am finding and discovering that it's positive charge, electric charge, I think. And then the left is negative electric charge. So it's called, I'm not sure when it's called a piezoelectric effect. I'm not sure when it happens, but that all that Kundalini is energy, right? I posted the image of the caduceus on my story. And bear with me, folks, because I'm just trying to think out loud and wrap all this together. I know it's related. But the image of the caduceus was speaking to free electric energy. It was a little confusing because it used a minus and a plus. So, but it says electric. So I'm thinking electric, but then I'm also thinking of it as magnetic because I just read and informed myself that um, you get an electrical current when you spin magnets around a conductor or a wire, a piece of copper, something that conducts electricity, because the copper's electrons are wont to um, leave and disperse an electrical field. That's the electric current is the electrons leaving to attach to the magnets. So you can spin magnets around the conductor, or the metal piece of metal to get an electric field, or you could spin the conductor around the magnets to get an electric field. All right, so if this is a piece of wire spinning it really fast around a magnet, and then you get an electric field. So both ways you could get an electric field. In this case, the image of the free electricity, the free power, the free energy. Fire is used to heat mercury. Mercury is the electrical conductor. The electrical conduits or conductors are like silver, copper, gold, metal or metal, but also mercury. So the heating the mercury is the warmth of the electrons converting to the mercury, which is why the mercury moves really fast. When you heat something up, you charge it with electrical energy or electrons. So that, and it gives you heat. So the mercury wants to move up the coils in the caduceus. Pick up an image of a caduceus on Google or whatever, look up. So that mercury, and in this, you can check it on my story if you're watching this on January 27th, 2024. But so the mercury goes up the circuits or the channels of the snakes, right? The caduceus. One snake, two snake, and they're raveling up each other like coils, right? The coils of a snake, um, but also the coils of the circuit, right? And so this is an example of when you um, wrap a conductor or conduit mercury around a magnet, the magnetic south and the magnetic north, the plus. So magnetic south maybe it's a negative charge, north is a positive charge, like in a magnet. Um, and in the but not only is this a model of free energy, right? Because electricity is dispersed or created an electrical field, and I guess a magnetic field. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say there. And more knowledgeable people might know this as well. But um, let me just think out loud here. Um, and that gives you electricity, and electricity is energy, right? It powers things, right? That's what a battery is, what I just described. But and so it kind of goes into the theory of like, why are they telling us mercury is poison, all this stuff, um, which I'm not here to debate. I'm just here to kind of think out loud. Um, and so, in talking about the Caduceus, I'm transposing the model of the Caduceus onto the human being because the human model is a battery as well, south polarity, north polarity, and then plus and minus electric fields and currents. Now, the heating of the mercury in the human body is the Kundalini awakening process, where you awaken the dormant conduit or the coil, right, like the copper wire, so that it travels up and creates an electrical field. Um, and we have, so the snakes of the Caduceus for the free electric model. In the human body, we have the Ida and the Pingala, which are circuits or channels for this dormant energy to shoot up. And when you're shooting up, they move in cross sections like the Caduceus around the human body, which is a magnet, the minus and the plus polarity. So, I want to talk a little bit now about the image that I saw in kind of researching the electric field in people, in humans, and the magnetic field. Now, I saw an image of something which is basically stating that the right hemisphere is plus and the left hemisphere is negative. I just spoke to this earlier in this video right now. The Kundalini awakening is like turning on, from my understanding, like a great generator or a great kind of electromagnetic field. It's like supercharging and superpowering. And I would imagine to the point of where you're upregulating your system, your consciousness, your vibration, your frequency, and maybe even creating a timeline jump where now your resonant frequency is more so with the spiritual path. Soulmates, dharmic soulmates, you're leaving away the karmic past and we're ascending to higher dimensions. So that's what we're here to do in this realm. Pick between positive and negative, right? I don't want to hang around people that are negative. We always use that in our language. I want to be around people that are positive, going to the great magnet, the great plus sign in the sky, God. We also use the plus sign for Christ. So we're trying to be on the up and up. Heaven is up, hell is down. Heaven is positive, hell is negative. It's in our language how we talk about the battery, the North Pole, the South Pole, the magnetic language. And this is crazy because we've been talking about how we're working from the inside out, like what? A magnet. Our electric magnetic field. The magician is the manifester, and he has the wand. The wand is the pen, the authority to author the end of his story. The authority to raise his frequency as above, so below. Now, what is also as above, so below? It's the cerebral spinal fluid circuit that's in your spine, which in this case is similar to mercury. It goes up and down, like when you heat up a mercury thermometer. So I say all this to say, now this is all like, none of this is new information, but in the way that it's being pieced together by me, might be new. I know that Santos talks a lot about this, a lot of people talking about this, but again, I'm just, with all due respect and being humble, this is my entryway, and I think that this is fascinating because I've never seen anyone say this about the tarot and how it's kind of hidden in the tarot and in the poker card, which is an older form of the tarot. And I had instinctually been saying that the swords are electric, right? Because the swords are the thoughts, and the thoughts are air. Okay, and what do we derive from air? From the ether, or the air is electric power, right? Because the air is positively charged ions and negatively charged ions. And that's how we harness that. All that Tesla stuff, right? So, let's see here. I know I'm all over the place, but I'm still trying to like succinctly wrap all this up. 14:44 on the clock. So, let's see. Where are we at here? Let's see. So we're talking about the positive hemisphere, negative hemisphere, electrical currents, We've been saying full magnetic power, full magical power. Okay, the authorship. We've been saying, um, oh, how I came to the conclusion that the sword. Well, again, sword is thoughts, right? Sword is thoughts in the tarot. We know this because it's powered by Gemini. Gemini's ruling planet is Mercury, so there's connections there as well, and Virgo. Um, Mercury has the wings because it goes up, it takes flight. Virgo's is earth, air, grounding. It has to come back down again, right? As above, so below. So I'm just making this connection now, but it's fucking awesome. So we're talking about the sword in the tarot is um, it's electric, it's thinking. So how do we get this, right? How do we get this? Well, we know that the wands are fire because it's action. We know that the cups are water because it's emotion. Um, Emotion is water, right? Fire and action is passion. So it's all interchangeable. Swords are, and this is from stuff that I've learned of the tarot, and now we're all just kind of putting it together here. Um, Swords, I would say, are thoughts because, uh, and again, I'm thinking out loud here, trying to make the connections. Swords are thoughts, and the swords is also Gemini, um, the air signs. Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini are represented by the swords, specifically Gemini. So that's how we make the connection of the swords to the air. Okay. And what's also in the air, your thoughts, right? So we're saying that our thoughts are electric in the air, right? We receive downloads. It's an antenna in our brain. I'm just trying to connect how we get from point A to point B. I'm thinking out loud to that. Um, so swords are the air signs, right? So swords has to do with air, what's in the air, electricity, thoughts, um, and we're calling that electric. And one of the kind of ways that we're able to get away with that too is that electricity is really not spoken in the tarot. We only have air, earth, fire, and water. Okay, but air can also be that Buddhist, the famous Buddhist Thich Nhat Hanh or whatever his name is, Thich Nhat, whatever his name is. He passed away, but he was saying that electricity is fire. Uh, it's an expression of the element of fire. And I wrote a joking post on Facebook saying that fire or electricity is just frozen fire. Okay, and I also said that money is just solar energy in your pocket or electric magnetic power in your pocket. So I'm gonna make this video as long as I want. I'm gonna talk as loud as I want. Okay, this is like Leo vibes, full moon. I'm trying to ground myself and talk it out and whatever. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything else when it comes to the sword. Okay, the sword is sharp. It could be sharp tongued, so it can hurt. And the tongue is the expression of thought. So that's another way we have swords as thoughts, right? In the tarot, Gemini in the 8, 9, 10 decans, the 8 of Swords, 9 of Swords, 10 of Swords, it expresses how in the 8 of Swords it's overthinking. That's how it's defined as. Because Gemini has a lot of mental energy, electric energy. Because it's in the ether, Mercury, with the wings. 9 of Swords is more of that. 10 of Swords is to where it overwhelms you and it almost it kills you from being overwhelmed. Could even be backstabbing betrayal, but we're talking about maybe how you could be over inundated with the electrical thought, right? Um, What else are we talking here? Gemini is the hands. What do you do with your hands? You write to ground the energy. The pen and the paper is wood, it's earth. So you're grounding it like electricity from a cloud to the ground. So this is how we get swords as air, and also what's in the air, electricity. It's grounded in the hands. This is how we connect the magician to Gemini, to Mercury, right? The magician has the wand, the pen has the wands, earth to ground it, to make manifest your reality, manifest as magic, all that stuff. Now, we're saying that this is Capricorn is 5, a plus, and it makes sense because this is on the right hemisphere. So it would be a plus. So that's what I'm trying to work with here, like the plus and the minus. But what I am trying to understand is masculine energy given a quotient or a value of plus or minus? That I'm not sure. I'd have to look up and research. But in this instance, we're going off the back of how the Capricorn alchemical sign shows a plus, right? And Jupiter shows the curve, or the number 2. What I would understand to be maybe doesn't really look like a minus, and it can kind of flip and flop, to be honest, because if you're talking about like the flat top of a 5, that can be seen as a minus too. And the thing with polarities is you can change them, right? If you hit a magnet hard enough, you can change its polarity. So none of this is fixed. But for the instances of what we're talking about here now, since this is on the right side of his hemisphere, right? This is his right side. This is a plus and this is a minus. And then you could kind of hold it sideways and see how it's a minus. But, so we're working with, like, different charges, right? Electrical, plus and minus, also polarity, north and south, south and north. This represents the season that we're in, which is Capricorn moving to Aquarius. We're now in Aquarius season, in the tropical. Again, we said this was North Pole, South Pole. And then you can flip it, because you can flip the poles. You see this is the electrical current from plus to minus. From plus to minus, no matter how you flip it. Right? Right side of the hemisphere, left side of the hemisphere. So this is speaking to the Kundalini awakening, the electric field, the magnetic field, the electric magnetic field. Right? Even the crossing of my fingers. Now that reminds me of the caduceus, which is what we spoke to as the free electrical energy, using mercury, heat, and fire to generate electricity. That's how energy is free, right? Use energy to cut the wood, to make the fire, to burn the mercury, to, you know what I'm saying, you eat the food, it's all from the sun. The sun is sending you solar radiation and light, right? It's sending you electromagnetic energy. What else can we say here? I know I'm all over the place, guys. Believe me, I did a lot of grounding meditation earlier before this, but so the plus is moving to the minus, Capricorn moving to Aquarius, Aquarius moving to Pisces, Pisces is a plus, or the cross, Aries is the minus, in this kind of outline that I'm saying here. Aries is also masculine. That would make Capricorn feminine, because I do know that it's every other, right? Aries is masculine, so Pisces is feminine, so Aquarius is masculine, so Capricorn is feminine. Now that sparked the brainchild thought of maybe matching with someone is about matching your polarities. If I'm a sun sign Aries, that's a negative charge. maybe I need to match with a positive sun sign. So that would either be to my left or my right on the zodiac, Pisces or Taurus. I've tried Taurus. That's not working. Why? Because maybe that's going backward or down negative on the zodiac wheel. Let me try to find a Pisces. Positive, going up. My north node is Pisces, right? My rising sign is Virgo, so the opposite is Pisces. North node Pisces, south node Virgo. So I'm supposed to be leaving Virgo, moving to Pisces, the spiritual. So maybe that's expressed through who I'm supposed to be with as well. I'm leaving the earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, right? They're to my right on the zodiac wheel. If I'm 1, they're 2, through to the 6 in Virgo. Let me go to the left. Or if you flip it around, let me go to my right. Let me go positive to stay with this guy. Towards Pisces. So maybe I should look for a Pisces. Because it's bringing me more towards where I need to move towards my north node. Ironically enough, north node, south node. North polarity, south polarity. So this guy he was looking to the Three of Pentacles, Capricorn energy, right? Positive energy. And then also the Six of Cups came out here. Just so you guys know, I got them right here, so you know what I'm talking about. So what came out is you are jumping dimensions by raising your frequency on the spiritual path. You're leaving the negative people, the karmic, or the negative charges. For me, it literally manifested in having a falling out with an Aquarius, which is negative, positive, negative Aquarius. So Aries is negative, Pisces is positive, Aquarius is negative. Two negatives are not going to go well together. This also extends into, I would think, the moon sign and the rising sign. If the moon sign is, for me, is Cancer, so we go Aries negative, Taurus positive, Gem negative, Cancer positive. So I would need to find a negative moon sign. Let me take note of that. Well, theoretically, this is not all proven yet, but I might use it as a method, right? So I need to find a negative moon sign. And I need to find a positive sun sign. So for instance, let's say Pisces, because I tried Taurus. Taurus don't work. Taurus is positive, but it's in the wrong direction. It's in the negative direction. I'm leaving Earth, Virgo, for heaven with Pisces. What do the Eagles say? This could be heaven or hell. Right? The two H's. And that's what Pisces is. At the heel, because it's the feet, or heaven, the sum total of all the zodiac signs in its wisdom, Pisces. So it could be heaven or hell. And then the eagle, what's the eagle from the song The Eagles? Hotel California? It's the serpent transformed into the dragon. And what does the dragon look like? It looks like the Caduceus. There's the serpent right here. Now it has wings. And what's the Caduceus? The serpent's coiled until it grows wings. And what also is coiled? The Kundalini. What happens when you raise the Kundalini? Proverbially, you grow wings like an angel. But that's you raising your vibration, you ascending back to heaven, I guess, theoretically. Maybe this is that realm where we're meant to do that. We're meant to pick between heaven and hell. That's what this realm is. It's the combat of it. His sword is pointing upward and downward, representing choice, possibly. Okay, are we going up? Are we moving on Jefferson's, or are we going down? So, and then not for nothing, my Virgo sign is, I think it is, so if Cancer's positive, Leo is negative, Virgo would be positive. So I need to find a negative, theoretically, right? I would have to find it to the, depending on which side we're going. Let's say if it's Aries and Pisces on this side, then I would say maybe I need to find, moving to the right, the next sign in line. So if I'm Cancer here, Cancerian here, I need to find the next moon sign to fit that negative, which would be what? Gemini. A Gemini moon. And actually my mom's a Gemini moon, which is crazy. So I need a Pisces sun, right, the fish. And then I would need the Virgo, what's the next going right here? I would need a Leo rising, right, proverbially. That's crazy. I think I just found out who I'm supposed to be with. Pisces sun, Gemini moon, Leo rising. Wow. I'm gonna put that. Looking for a. I might even Google that. Pisces sun, Gemini moon, Leo rising. Because I've had experience with Taurus, and that's moving in the wrong direction, possibly. What else can I say about this? We covered a lot here. It's the caduceus, it's the kundalini, it's electromagnetism, it's awakening, it's maybe even awakening to who you need to find, astrologically speaking, right? And then what else? We said that the Capricorn was positive, this is negative, positive Aquarius, and negative, positive Capricorn, negative Aquarius. So he's looking towards the direction of Aquarius. And remember, this could be the number 5 in reverse too, because we said that it looked like half the heart, the Christ heart. Look at, and this is what he has. He also has that symbol on another card. I think it's like a King of Wands card. But this could be the number 5, right? If you go flat top, down, and around, that's a number 5. Flat top, down, and around, that's a butt to butt number 5. So it's interesting because this represents, the spade represents a sword, King of Swords is Capricorn, Aquarius. So the spade image is actually saying, in a weird way, it's saying up with Jupiter, breaking the physical reign over the soul. So it's kind of ironic that it's a spade for the sign, because the spade, if it were a gang sign, it would be saying up with Jupiter, down with Capricorn. Or Saturn, right? Satan. Jupiter's Jesus or God. And so it's both a positive by charge because it's on the right hemisphere where it's God, where God's at. It's confusing, right? It's trippy. It's kind of like all in and of itself. It's like woven into itself. In this case, the spade looks more like the 4 or the 24 for the Jupiter sign. Right? Because isn't the Jupiter sign something like this? And then they say the Saturn sign is something like this. But when you put Saturn together with itself, what I'm calling the two fives butt to butt, then you get the crucifixion of the heart or the magnetic serum moving upward, plus and positive. So that's the awakening. And then what happens after the awakening is Jupiter, well, the heart reigns. We reign in the kingdom of God. And now the heart is uplifted. Jupiter, Saturn. But you have to multiply the Saturn. So this, quote unquote, what we know as devil or Satan or whatever, needs to happen so that we can wake up the heart, so that the heart can be exalted. When you put two Jupiter signs together, the heart is on this platform. It's like the heart is over the horizon. It's the rising sun. And the rising sun is also, I think, a symbology of the snake rising to the eagle, or the Kundalini awakening process. Because the sun is electromagnetic. People say that the sun is predominantly electric and the moon is predominantly magnetic. But look, if you put it together, this is the crucifixion here. So this plus sign could also be a sword stabbing the heart. That's also an image in the tarot. And we think it's bad, but it's only bad if we see it as death, like the crucifixion. But it's good if we know what the crucifixion is really a symbol about, which is the awakening of the Kundalini, because in Latin, to crucify something means to times it by 1,000. And that's what you're doing with the cerebral spinal fluid serum. That's insane. And so what that does is that helps you really travel with soulmates and discard karmics. People that you'd rather not be around energetically wise. This is mind blowing. Anything else here? I'm sure I may have missed something, but there was a lot going on here. So let me see Scorpio, because I had a falling out with Scorpio recently. So Capricorn is, and that's a whole nother trip, but Capricorn is, we're saying plus, so then Sagittarius is minus, so then Scorpio is plus. So maybe it was more so on the emotional front, right? Because if my Cancerian is a plus, maybe we're button heads emotionally, and I feel like that's really what it was. So we repelled each other emotionally. Whereas if my mom is a Gemini moon, we're attracting each other. I gotta call my mom and tell her about this. This is crazy. Anything else here? Capricorn Aquarius. I'm gonna tell her all this shit. This is insane. I'm trying to think what we were talking about before this. I gotta watch all my videos. Alright, I'm gonna leave it there until I think to speak to more stuff. Hope you guys have fun with this.